Hey guys, and welcome. It's Don Robertine here, showing you a tutorial from the Warlords of Draenor beta. Yes, that's right. Just showing you some changes here with regards to some of the system menus. Now, obviously we know that the system menu is by the red question mark here. And if we go into system, okay, first thing actually I want to show you is the what's new panel that happens when you log in at the moment. I imagine this is what's going to happen when you first log in after patch 6.0. You will see here, this is the new in Warlords of Draenor, and it shows you some of the new stuff that's come in. But there's also here, now when I first logged in, I've clicked accept on this, which was a bit silly, but when I first logged in here, there was this Draenor button, and here there was a button that basically said to start the quest. And when I started that quest, it started the quest to start me on the pre-patch achievement sort of quest line, as it were. So that's quite a new feature actually, because it doesn't matter where you are in the world. You don't have to be right next to a honor board as well. You don't have to, you know, those boards that show you the new quests and the new zones, which is quite good. So you could be anywhere you like in the world. Moving on though. Oh, there we go. So you see that it's come up here as a dark portal, and you know, you have all these quest things, and it basically tells you, points you towards Archmage Khadgar there. So we'll accept it there. And as we see here, some of the quest UI improvements as well, which I'll just quickly go through while I'm here. There's tutorials here which you can obviously turn off through the normal way, but these are quite handy quests. This is basically the quest log. So when you press the quest log, it'll automatically open up a smaller view of the zone here and show you the quests that you have here. This is your achievement as well for Shadowmoon Valley, which I'm in at the moment, but obviously whatever zone you're in, it'll show you the little achievement marker here and the little achievements that you have to go through. What it'll also show you here is a view all quests. This is all the quests that you're in your quest log here, and as we can see here, we've got Assault on the Dark Portal is here. Now it's green because I'm on the level 100 PvE realm, and here is a good indication of how you access your various maps. So moving on, obviously if you wanted to get the normal map view, you can just, that's the quest log going there. Normal map filters are here, and if you wanted just a full map, you can hit that there, which is awesome. Now L for the quest log opens you up there. M for the map also does the exact same thing. If you want the full map, you'll have to click here to open up the full map. So let's move on now and cover what I was going to start off with, which is the system. So in the system settings, we'll start off with graphics at the top of the board. I had to adjust the sound levels for the video, so that's why I opened up with sound. Looking at the system things, we see the normal stuff here. We got the refresh rate, the resolution, the display mode, what monitor we wanted to go on. Anti-aliasing has slightly changed. Okay, so remember how, you know, in the past, if you choose through this setting, anti-aliasing would normally show you the 2 times, 8 times, 6 times, all that stuff. Now it's got simple stuff here, so I've got it set on none, and as you can see with the guy behind me, it's not too bad. This is a little bit fuzzy on the edges, but it's not too bad. You can get away with it. If you have a better system though, you can select all these options here. These basically, as with most graphical settings, just play around with them. If you have a high-end system, go for this one option here. But of course you may find that FXAA high suits you better, so choose that one. Vertical sync, same old, same old. But now we get into the interesting thing. We have a category here for base settings. Now the base settings is obviously just what's going to happen throughout anywhere you go. Okay, and this is what you would see today in today's client, where you just have settings for everything. Obviously I have quite a fairly high-end PC, so I've got it all set to Ultra, which obviously says all this at Ultra and everything at High. As we can see here, we can look at SSAO, we can look at refraction and things like that. So it's all very good and well. The quality bit in here is that now you can choose raid and battleground settings. So this means that while you're out in the world, you can have different graphics settings than what would happen when you zone into a raid or battleground. So certainly for those PCs that are lower level, lower spec, you can set it to lower settings when you're in raid or battleground settings, because you know there's going to be a lot of people around, there's going to be a lot of spells firing off. So having that option to say when you're out in the world, I can have ultra settings, but if I enable this and click on here, I can set it to fair if I wanted to, and every time I enter a raid or a battleground, it would show as fair settings. And as you can see, flicking between the two, it keeps them there. And what we can do is just do the normal apply, presto changeo, there. Now obviously we can untick this at any time, and if we untick this box, we'll go back to the base settings. So moving on to advanced, not a lot has changed here. We can see here we can change the different graphics API, we can see here we can enable hardware cursor, reduce input lag, all things that have been in here. Been in the menu beforehand. The only new option here is the show new character models button. Okay, if you have a lower end PC, probably better that you don't take this button. If you take the button, you'll suddenly have the new stuff that's showing here in the background. If we click apply, he turns back into the old character model. When we click apply again, presto changeo, he grows a little bit as well and changes. Nothing new in the network options, really. We've got advanced combat logging and things like that, so all very nice. Languages has seen a vast improvement because now you can change between the text and the audio. Okay, at the moment I've only got English and I've got Latin American Spanish and Portuguese. Not quite sure how it figures this out, because you should be able to select various different languages, but I assume it's just a limitation of the beta. So in this case, what you could have is you could have your text in English, but if you say learning a different language, you might find it beneficial to listen to French, German, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian. You can have a different audio experience and still read stuff in English, so you can have a basic understanding of what's going on. So very entertaining options there. For the sound, nothing has really changed here. We can see we got high quality stuff, pretty much the exact same system and menu. And of course the voice chat hasn't seen much in the way of changes since it was first brought out. So there are the system changes. Moving on to interface, we'll go through this quickly. As we can see here, we've got the same old options where if something is new, there's a little exclamation mark here. Now, the most important thing, we'll have to cover this in another video, but there's reverse cleanup bags here and loot to leftmost bag. Okay, now obviously we've got the bag set up here as the normal default UI shows. If you change these options and you do not have the default UI, you are probably going to find it's not going to do the right thing. Now, as to whether the add-on will have a different option or will tell the client to do something different, I don't know. We won't know until sort of in release or somewhere down the line, but it's worth keeping an eye on just in case you do use a bag add-on or a bartender or anything like that, that these two options may have the adverse effect. As with all add-ons and stuff, you do so at your own caution, at your own risk, so just keep that in mind. So obviously, as we have the bag set up here, normally the default UI would, well, the default settings would loot into the next available slot going from the right. If you want it to go from the left, you can have it go from the left. Happy days. Combat, nothing really much has changed, so we won't dwell on that one. The display has an outline mode, which you'll see here. If I outline this guy, you can show it a little green line, which basically shows that he's an NPC. If he was a quest objective or an enemy, the enemy would glow in a red outline instead of green, and the quest objective or flight master or things like that, areas of interest, would glow in yellow. At the moment we've got it on mouse over only. Okay, what you can do is on mouse over and target, so you can mouse over him, and when you target him, he stays like that. As well, you can click none if you so choose. Moving on, objectives. We can do this as a feature that I've been wanting for quite some time, which is the newly tracked quest sorting. So what we can do is we can do it like normal, where it just goes to the top, or we can do it by proximity. That dwarf is laughing at me in the background. If you choose proximity, this is really handy. Certainly if you quest in, you know, you're like going into a hub, picking up all the available quests there, and venturing out into the world. Choosing the proximity option will probably be the better of the two, because you can have it filter so that if your quest objective is really near you, it'll appear at the top of your list. So you'll know to always look at the top of your list to find out where to go next, what it's tracking, what's nearby you. And that's certainly something that's very helpful, certainly for my playstyle as well. Social, nothing much has changed here. Action bars. Now we can see here we've got show numbers for cooldowns. This might be very good for those of you who PvP, and just to read the tooltip for those who maybe can't see it due to the video, you can check this to show a number I'm all tongue twisted. You can check this to show a number countdown instead of a radial swipe for action button cooldowns. So as we know, for now, when you have a cooldown, it shows a little sort of clock face, and the thing highlights once the cooldown is up. You see like a grey background, and it slowly reveals to be active. What this will do is obviously replace that with a number, so it's a bit like some of those cooldown add-ons that you see where you'll just see a number on your screen instead of that radial swipe. Very handy for those of you in PvP, certainly if you just want a quick reaction, you don't want to judge the radial swipe. The next one that we see here is NPC names. Now, very minor, but certainly hide minor NPC names. If you low-level questing or things like that, you can choose to elect this one to completely not show anything. So certainly might be beneficial. I myself can't see much of a benefit to this one, so I'm going to leave it up to you guys to find out if that's going to be beneficial for you. Floating combat text. This one, floating combat text for pet battles, is the new addition here, and you can choose to enable it or disable it. If you choose to enable it, the same stuff here pops up. Okay, so if you choose to enable, you do your tweaks through here, and that's how it will show. If you choose to disable, then obviously nothing will show up. The rest of it, as you can see here, there's no new additional changes there, so we're just going to quickly flick through it, and you guys can see there's not really much of a change to these stars here. So what we'll move on to next, and lastly, is the key bindings. Key bindings, you'll see they're a lot nicer, a lot neater. It's not this long list that you have to scroll through to find absolutely the one minor thing that you were looking for. So now obviously it's grouped into little things, as you can see here on the left hand side, so it takes much the same look as the interface, which is very nice indeed. So we see here movement keys, or like this, and the chat, action bar, multi-action bar, targeting, interface panel, miscellaneous camera, target markers, vehicle controls. So it's all very nice, and these work much the same way. You just click on here, select the new button that you want to bind it to, and job done. You can of course also unbind the key once you have this selected, and it will change to a not bound showing. What you can also do is here, click this character specific key bindings, and you can toggle between the general key bindings and key bindings specific to this character. So you can choose that sort of thing if you want to really get into it. Certainly if you have a lot of alts, it's a lot beneficial as well. So that's it there for the game menu UI interface. We all know what the shop and the help menu does, so I won't go into those. Thanks very much for watching. I hope this has been beneficial, and stay tuned for more Warlords of Draenor videos.